Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap today up with a creator request, which is where a smaller band gets in contact with me and asks me to check out their works. I got an email, said, "Hey, Critical Reactions team." It's just me, I'm the whole team. Uh, I'd like to introduce At Night I Fly, a band made up of acknowledged members of the Hungarian progressive music scene. We released our last album, Mirror Maze, in September of 19, and now we have to set out to make a follow-up. With the new album is scheduled for release in the summer, we've already recorded a preview song in a special format. The video has been recorded as a live session clip, so the music of the professionally filmed material has been recorded entirely live on the location of the video. That's pretty impressive. The music takes a slow building form spanning several emotional levels. The lyrics represent metaphor for a serious psychological condition. As you probably suspect, we're trying to catch your attention. It'd be an honor to come up in one of your great reaction videos and continue this beautiful journey together. So let's dive into it. I think this might be the longest creator request track that's been on the channel at 10.5 minutes. Let's dive into this and see what At Night I Fly is bringing to the table. Oh man, got ourselves a Commodore. Wait, I might be reading into that, but did you guys rig a Commodore to be a synth? Oh no. Oh wait, maybe. I'm gonna get off that. Let's stick to the music. Yeah, the shifting accent pattern. Yeah, so we're working on a 3-3-2 phrase. Still 4-4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Look at me now, I am the king.
Yeah, very isolating, though, to start the track off. Very spacious.
I have it all, I'm ready to say. I wonder if you're still listening. That's what you see, that's what you know. That's what you get from my freak show. But it's a lie I spread from below. 'Cause I'm so afraid to let it go. doctor said it's nothing like it seems. All the time I
We're really building this mood. I'm curious where all this buildup is going.
hatred, plague, and betrayal I jailed. Now my life is hanging on a thread. A tiny spark of hope inside a red. Sometimes floating lights drifts around the sun. It's just too late to tell who you are. Maybe it's my last song to sing. Some kind of distress call. Maybe there's no one listening.
Yeah, interesting emotion we went to there, especially going from our pedal tone section just prior to it. Love that texture layering. Beautiful keyboard tone. Works very well with the guitar. Dude, that bass just punching through though.
I can see the water rising. I can feel the grasping cold. Lights are blinking, power's failing. This worn out sun is getting old. Here's my last distress signal. I will cry for help no more. Just the last page of a journal for this poor misguided soul.
Yeah, I'm loving this solo. Bringing the harmony in. Yeah, we got some rising tension here. Getting the energy up. Yeah, okay. Interesting to bring this back down. You guys got me with the vocal harmonies. opening things up a bit more. Oh, I thought they were. Alright, so I got my question answered anyways. The Commodore was not rigged up, it was just tapped in time with the bass. Yeah, really great track. It shows off a lot of maturity compositionally. Um, it, I had some different expectations given the description of it, but I think that's primarily just going to create a bit of a small bit of negativity on a first time listen. But now that I know what's ahead of me, if I were to re-listen to it, I don't think any of that negativity would be a part of a second or third experience with the track. So I'm not even really going to bring any of that up because that was me just being in the wrong mindset for it. Um, so let's talk about what the song is doing. The song is exceptionally spacious in many of the sections to it, even in some of our heavier moments. Like, I don't even know what we could call it. The sections all kind of blur together here. um, but we had a pedal tone section where everybody was on pedal tone, the keyboard, the guitar, the bass. It was our first heavier driving section, but it too even felt a bit isolating. Even when we get to the heavier ending of the bridge before it took us back to the chorus, just there at the end, and I felt that it was building towards something, and it just kind of goes back to the chorus. I felt that was a little odd. But even in that heavier section, the drums are going. We got the double bass kicks. We start to push towards a feeling of fullness as far as the sound sphere goes, and actually filling up the space with sound. And we only do it for like 8 bars before we back off again and bring us back to the chorus, which is again kind of spacious. There's very few sections of this track that feel full. And so the song, despite the variety of sections we go through, the more atmospheric, the more rhythmic, the more larger and bombastic, they all still feel small. They all still feel isolating. And I think it's really interesting how they've managed to pull that off, regardless of the sound of the section. That's isolation and sparseness tend to come with a lack of instruments, a lack of sound, usually quieter volumes and less instruments, usually just a vocal or maybe an instrument accompanying a vocal. And they found a way to bring everything in here and keep it consistently isolating despite a full band. Despite a full band at full volume. If you looked at the volume visualizer over there, it never really dropped below 70%. And even that, I mean, it's not a song that ever decides to move towards anything quiet. So they don't utilize that too often. It's got to be a production thing. Maybe it's just a very spacious sound sphere. There's plenty of room to place instruments, and then they only put, a rock band in here. They got four instruments to worry about. Well, five, because there's a synth too. Although, interestingly, I'm looking at this. The synth player is a special guest. It looks like the group is just the vocalist, the guitarist, the bassist, and the drummer. So that's interesting. I was also going to make a comment about the age range of this group, but it really was the synthesizer player who seemed a bit younger than everyone else, and that I mean they were a special guest. I'm not going to say that makes sense. I was about to, but yeah, the band is they're all generally the same age. It looks like, and then the synth guy was like half their age. Um, not unheard of, but a little unusual. Anyways, yeah, just the spaciousness though, the isolation that everything sort of points towards, and I think one of the ways they built on this is atmosphere. There are surprisingly few sections in here that I can think have riffs to them. A lot of it is atmosphere building. The synth does a fantastic job of that. We do get some licks out of the keyboardist, the synth player, here and there, some little looped ideas, but for the most part, nobody really has a melodic concept. It's usually a rhythmic idea, like the bass, working with pedal tones and rhythmic ideas based on that. We got the pads from the synth doing chords, usually pushed to the background, and the guitarist even usually works within either whole notes and holding out a sound, or rhythmic ideas like in the pedal tone section, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes into the track, where everybody's kind of sitting on one note and just rhythmically dancing around with it. The drummer is also playing rather sparsely. If you ever check them out, uh, very few accents, and the cymbal work is sparse enough that we can keep a pulse on the track, but never really pushing towards anything loud or bombastic or rhythmically complex. It really is designed to evoke this feeling of, I don't know, hopelessness, sad. I don't. There's a darkness to the song, but I can't quite place what the specific feeling is other than lonely, which is definitely a feeling throughout this entire track. Maybe that is it. All of this changes after I think our second chorus. We start moving into the bridge, which is our extended guitar solo, and I loved this. It was restrained enough, as if trying to conserve energy. It felt like it wanted to move into more complex playing. Maybe not necessarily pure shred, but just injecting some 16th notes at times. And every time that it alludes to moving to a faster idea, it just never takes it. And there's such restraint to the playing. It's fascinating. And then they brought in the keyboard with it, and they had these harmonized sections, beautiful. We also had one of these earlier where the guitar and keyboard shared a melody. I just really like the tones that the synth player has, and the way that they pair with the guitar. They meld into a single voice. It is just gorgeous, and it's not like we have just one synth tone either. I think we heard two, three, maybe three different tones paired with the guitar tone at different times, and they were all just like perfectly selected or crafted, I suppose, is probably more accurate given it's a synth, to just blend well with what the guitar is doing with their tone. It's just really gorgeous work. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting that for a song that's so isolating, we have this duality, this two voices working together as one throughout a few of these sections. I'm curious if the lyrics are going to dive into similar themes as this. I'm kind of hoping so, given that this song seems to be very focused on this sound, which makes the dual concept Well, see, here's the other thing too, because especially in the guitar solo, we kind of have this conversation going on where the guitar is always playing, but the synth is only sometimes playing. And then at the end of this solo, the drums kick it into overdrive. We start getting, what, 16th notes on the bass kick, tons of cymbal and tom work. The drummer really gets to show off for a bit. All the instruments just start rising in intensity. And it's almost like bringing these voices together started to kick something into overdrive. And it just didn't go anywhere, and maybe that's part of the narrative or maybe part of the themes. Uh, that build up back into the chorus, though, you got all this rising energy, and instead of hitting the peak, you sort of drop down to like an 8 when you were really aiming for a 10. It's quite possible it's the intended experience of it is to feel this lack of satisfaction from that build up, but yeah, it felt a little out of place to me. But it was a moment for everyone to kind of show off a little bit, which I thought was nice. This is my introduction to At Night I Fly, and it's possible that they want to showcase their compositional chops here more than their musician chops, and maybe another track has them shredding more often. Maybe the drummer gets to go off more often. But this one seems to be exceptionally moody. It's a slow burn. We actually do very little given the length of the of time it is. It really is something. It doesn't meander though. That's the thing too. Is it just feels, what's the way? It feels like it just takes up a lot of time, but it's always moving forward. It's always moving towards something. The pacing is good. We just don't really do anything in it, which there's a word for this, and I can't think of what it is. Um, I mean, isolation kind of works. It kind of fits with the bill of like boredom too. Not that I'm bored listening to it, but it evokes the emotion of boredom. Nothing really changing, but time keeps passing, right? Nothing, it doesn't ever feel like the song stops or is spinning its wheels or can't get to where it needs to go. It's always progressing somewhere. It just never really goes anywhere. Like the feeling of just staring at a wall and having nothing to do is kind of what I'm getting out of this. Again, that doesn't mean I'm bored. It's just the emotion the song is portraying. The last thing I want to touch on is the two instruments I haven't really talked about much yet. The bass is beautiful. I love the bass tone. It's one of the first things we get. It actually has a really nice synthwave sound to it, which actually confused me a little bit at the beginning because it does kind of have a synthy thing going on, but it is very clearly an electronic bass. Sorry, an electric bass. But it's tuned in just a way that I think it has a bit more treble than I would expect in some places. And this has me thinking that maybe there's multiple bass tones. Because especially in our intro and outro, it feels a bit treble heavy. But in some of our heavier sections, this thing cuts through with some bassiness to it. Um, and so I'm thinking maybe we got two bass tones, which is really cool because as I've mentioned this week, I think might have been that we often see guitarists switching between a lead tone and a solo tone and a rhythm tone, right? Guitarists always have lots of sounds for their instruments. Bassists usually just are. You have your bassist. You might not even have any foot pedals. You might just plug it straight into the amp, and that's what you play. Like you don't really change much. I think this bassist might actually have a couple tones that are utilized for different sections, which would be very cool. But it's a wonderful bass tone. It is primarily playing pedal notes with some rhythmic cadences to it. It's it fits what's going on. Nobody in this track is really showing off, but I'm curious again if they have a track that might be a bit more of their showcase as musicians more so than composers, because this song really shows off their ability to craft atmosphere and to tell a story through the music, and maybe that's what they do as a band. maybe I shouldn't be expecting uh, shredding anywhere throughout here, though the drummer did get to pop off a little bit. So I don't know. I might have to check out the album because I really enjoyed this. The other one I want to talk about is the vocalist and just gorgeous, gorgeous voice. Whether it's being a bit quieter and reflective or having more power and width in the voice, just really great. We also had the guitarist come in with those backing vocals. Loved that. Wish we would have had more of it. But if the song is about isolation, it makes more sense to pepper in these harmonies like we did with the guitar and the synthesizer. Because our character, I think, is supposed to be isolated. Which, speaking about that, let's dive into some lyrics. Now, the email also told me a little bit about what the song was going to be going into. And it mentions that it's about a narcissist who is coming to terms with who they are and what they've done. And this is very clearly laid out even in our opening two stanzas. Look at me now, I'm the king, I'm the ruler of everything, I have it all, I'm ready to sing, I wonder if you're still listening. That's what you see, and that's what you know, and that's what you get from my freak show, but it's a lie I spread from below because I'm so afraid to let it go. Even goes on to say, I wonder if my life was just a dream. You know, if I built up this idea of myself and what I've done that isn't true because I needed to see myself as better than I was. It doesn't really extrapolate on that at all, so we don't know if they literally are the king and ruler of everything. That's probably a bit metaphorical, but at best it shows that they have power. But is that just an illusion of power crafted by their ego? Don't really get a straight answer on that. Um, but he goes on to say sometimes 49 trips around a star is just too late to see who you are. So yeah, this character is a bit later in their life, 49 years old. He says, "My life is hanging on a string, a tiny spark of hope inside a ring." So the mortality is what is causing our character to be introspective. And at the end of the track, we begin to see what all sparked this, what our catalyst was to these thoughts. He says, I can see the water rising. I can feel the grasping cold. Lights are blinking. Power's failing. This worn out sub is getting old. Now, once again, this might be a metaphor, but the idea of a sub, we have somebody who is by themselves, presumably, given the isolation in the music, underwater in a metal tube, a submarine, and water's coming in. They're taking in water. He says, "Here's my last distress signal. I'll cry for help no more. Just a last page of a journal for this poor, misguided soul." And so that's what it's about. We have somebody who is alone on their deathbed, thinking they were the greatest thing and realizing no one's around them. You know, they spent their whole life talking themselves up and presumably pushing everyone away from them, that when it's time for them to go, they realize they're going alone. They have no one by their side uh, to provide any comfort in their passing. And so it makes them think about their life. What have I done? Who am I? How did I get here? It is a lonely moment for this person. Very introspective, very isolating. All of these things shine through in the music very well. It does make me question the harmonies that we get throughout. It's possible that they're just for music's sake. They sounded great, so they added them. I was kind of hoping they might add to the story a little bit and maybe in a way, they're supposed to be echoes of memories. That's not really supported by the lyrics, but I think it's um, a neat touch, if that's what they intended, because this person is getting very introspective, and through that, especially having their life flash before their eyes, possibly at this moment, knowing that they're on their way out, they could be going through their memories, and some of those memories might have people surrounding them. It's a hypothesis. I don't know. Like I said, the lyrics don't really support it, but yeah, phenomenal track here. Really great job at building atmosphere. The atmosphere fits the music, or it fits the lyrics very well. And I love every time the keyboard and guitar got to play with each other. Just really great melody writing in those places. Those are my thoughts on At Night I Fly's Distress. What did you think about this one? Put your thoughts, comments, perspectives, and anything else down in the comments section. Above that, in the description box, usually I'd put my link. Instead, we're going to put At Night I Fly's links. Their streaming platforms, social media, anything else I can find is going to be there. If you want to check out more of their music, if you want to buy some CDs, if you want to see if they have merch, I don't know if they do. If they do, that all that stuff will be down there. Real easy to find all the ways if you want to connect with them. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell on this video. Head over to their channel, their pages, their social medias. Like, subscribe, follow, any of that. Show them some love. That wraps it up for today. Tomorrow we got an album. Sunday we got the live stream. Monday we'll be back with a 2-week theme of wild shifts. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.